Okay, let's call the Andover City Council meeting to order of September 11th, 2018. Start off with roll call to my left, please.
Brian Schwan, council member.
Caroline Hale, council member.
Troy Tabor, council member.
Ben Lawrence, Mayor.
Clark C.R. Nelson, council member.
Greg Schneider, council member.
Mike Warrington, council member.
Mike Geller, police chief.
Donna Davis, chief financial officer.
Chad Russell, fire chief.
Jennifer McCausland, Assistant City Administrator.
Les Mangus, Director, Public Works.
Susan Renner, city clerk.
Mark Detter, City Administrator.
All right, item 3 is the invocation. I see Pastor David Lemonaire here from Epic Church. Thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you for having me. Let's just open with some prayer. Father in heaven, we are just so thankful to be a part of this city and a part of the things that you're doing here. And God, I would just ask that you put a blessing over this meeting and all the plans that that these fine men and women have worked hard over to bless the city, to serve it, and to prosper it. And so, God, just strengthen the work of their hands, encourage their hearts, and give them a wisdom that will not only benefit the city of Andover, but glorify your name. And I ask all of these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Item 4 is the Pledge of Allegiance. I would like to introduce several members of our audience this evening. They are from PAC 584. And we had a nice little chat before the meeting, here to learn a little bit about government and citizenship, and I've asked them to help us lead the Pledge of Allegiance. So while they're coming up here, I'd ask the rest of you to stand with us. Guys, if you just want to file up here and around, that'd be great. That's good.
Will you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, guys, don't run off. What I have for you is the City of Andover badge. You can put on your uniform there if you would like. We appreciate you joining us this evening, okay? You are welcome. Let me have some guys.
Good job, Alex.
All right, item number 5 this evening is the public forum. Is there anyone here that wishes to address the council? Again, this is the public forum. You can stand up and say anything you want, within reason. Being none, I will move on to item number 6, which is the acceptance of the agenda. I don't see anything additional this evening, is that correct? Mr. Detter?
No, sir.
Okay.
Should be a rather
Mr.
short
Mayor,
agenda.
I would move to accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, a motion by CR, second by Brian to accept the agenda as presented. Further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7. PAC 584. You're here to discuss outdoor camping?
I am Blake from PAC 584, and I am here to ask if my PAC can camp at the park.
Okay, you want to camp out in this park, right? Central Park. You know what days?
No.
Well, our packet here says October 6th, Saturday, October 6th at 2 p.m. and ending on Sunday, October 7th, the next day. Does that sound correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I am Matthew from PAC 584, sorry. I'm not really from Andover, I'm from Rose Hill, but I still enjoy it here. But I'm here to ask if we have permission to start fires on our camp out.
Okay. Anyone else have any more questions before we consider this?
I'm Karsten from Pack 584, and I'm here to ask if we have permission to launch rockets.
Ooh. What kind of rockets are they?
Model rockets.
Model rockets? How high do they go?
200 feet?
Okay. They're plastic?
Yes.
All right. Any other questions? No. Chief, we've had fires associated with campouts overnight, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Taking a look at these boys, they look like they are trustworthy. But yes, we work with Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts.
There's
Girl Scouts.
designated campfire spots, yeah.
Yeah, we'll make sure that we work with the pack leaders to make sure we're in compliance.
How many rockets you have? Everybody builds one and shoots it? Okay. Never had that request before. Maybe they just didn't ask and just did it, right? I don't have an objection to a plastic rocket. I mean, I guess you got to be careful where you're shooting it out at. There's nothing within a couple 100 feet around except these buildings, right? With metal roofs. Do our two chiefs have any concerns about the rockets being fired?
The only thing I might mention is if we could try to be at the south end towards the east.
Right.
Yeah, because the baseball fields are nearby and they have turf on them, and we've heard concerns about making sure stuff doesn't land on them.
So in the southeast corner.
Yeah, that would be preferable if possible.
Is that kind of in that parking area?
It is, yeah, it'd be in that parking area.
That was going to be my question, if these rockets would go up and you would be able to predict the area they would come back down in and clean up after yourselves, so I'm sure that you would do
Depends
that.
on wind
Yeah, in
shear.
that wide open field, generally they land within that area, and then the boys chase them and recover them.
Very good.
Mr. Mayor, from the fire department's perspective, we're at your pleasure. I might suggest that we have your fire marshal work with them on any details.
Sounds fine.
They can certainly work that out.
I've seen these model rockets shot off before, and there's no really a fire that's associated with them when they're in
Compressed
the
air.
air. Yeah, I mean they shoot up like a firecracker, in the air, but after they leave, it's just a parachute comes out and it hits the ground. So it's very simple.
Is that like a motion to approve this
Yes.
request, Mike?
I'll
Yes.
second it.
Okay. And Caroline seconded that. So we have a motion by Mike and a second by Caroline to approve the request to camp overnight in Andover Central Park from Troop Pack 584 on Saturday, October 6th, beginning at 2 p.m., ending on Sunday, October 7th at 10, as requested. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Chief, you'll have Rosie reach out to the troop?
Yes, I'll get with them as they're leaving and make
Okay.
sure they have our information.
Sounds good. Item number 8, we have a presentation this evening for the Greater Andover Days.
All right, good evening. It's been a while since I've been here at the podium. But Greater Andover Days is in 2 weeks, so we wanted to come by and just give you guys a rundown of some of the new stuff going on and invite you guys all out to the annual festival. So it's the 51st annual Greater Andover Days, and the theme this year is Mad About Gad. You guys can see the button right up there. It's really cool design. So the button design is kind of a mad scientist, but we are encouraging everyone to take their own spin on it, however they want to be mad about Gad. So we'll see what kind of cool creative things we come up with from the city. There are a few changes this year and some new events. So the amusement park ride wristbands increased to $28 from $25, so not a huge increase, but that is a change. And As far as new events go, the Foundation for Andover Schools is hosting a community breakfast on Thursday morning. That is open to the public, and I believe it's $20 tickets or $200 for a table of 8. Excuse me. And then there will also be a stargazing presentation at Andover Central Middle School on Friday night at 7 p.m. The Intrust Bank Beans Tournament will also be at Andover Central Middle School on Saturday, starting at 2 p.m. And then I don't remember what that stands for.
Andover Augusta Rails Trails Initiative.
Andover Augusta Rails Trails Initiative. Ooh, that's a long
You could have said Artie.
Well, yeah, but I wanted to give them credit.
All right.
The Artie Fun Walk, Ride, Run is going to be at the Red Bud Trail / Trailhead Park Saturday from 3 to 5. As part of that, there will be a ribbon cutting, so they would like someone from the council to be there to help officially cut the ribbon for the new part of the Red Bud Trail. So we need a volunteer for that.
I'm supposed to be their liaison, so it sounds like that's something I should be doing.
All right, perfect. Perfect.
And I would add, it's a ribbon cutting, so as many of you that want to come, I think, Caroline, we might have some talking points, but as many of you who want to come, welcome.
Right. And then as far as other things going on, Thursday night, welcome on Thursday evening, I believe Councilmember Tabor is going to be doing that. That's what I've been told.
On Thursday evening, the 27th?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah?
Yes. Good. All right.
I'll be back.
And then the parade is from 8 to 11 on Saturday. Starts at Andover High School and follows.
Registration is.
Registration starts at 8. Sorry, the parade's at 10. Thank you. That's why she's here. She's actually done all of this stuff for this year, so she deserves all the credit for everything. And then the hot dog and watermelon eating contest, we do need a few volunteers for that to judge. We have moved that to 2 p.m. for the hot dog eating contest and 2:30 for watermelon. Believe in the packet, the schedule says 1 and 1:30. We've pushed that back an hour. And then, yeah, you guys seen that. You have the schedule of events in there. We'd like to thank the mayor for sponsoring the candy contest, which is going around all town. So get your votes in for how much candy you think is in there. And reminder that buttons are $3, and we won't be selling them in the park this year, so get them beforehand. And we've got some great entertainment coming up too.
Where can people buy the buttons at?
Andover State Bank, Walgreens, Intrust Bank, Dillon's, Equity Bank, Ace Hardware, Casey's General Store, Sunstone Apartments.
Does the senior center have them again?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right.
One question. Did you say it's $20 for the table, or it's $200 for a table of 8?
Mm-hmm.
Or $20 each?
Yes.
So it's like cheaper to do it if
Yeah.
you just do each then?
What are you talking
I was just curious.
Yeah,
I just knew the math.
For what?
Oh, for that.
for the community
Foundation
breakfast.
Yeah.
Oh, the breakfast, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Just checking.
I have a question for you. The last couple of years going and having kids that like to do the amusement park thing, we've always seen in the program that there was a special rate of, last year was 25, now it's 28, from, one example on here, 12 to 5. But when you actually go out there and show up, it's from like 12 to 3 and like 3 to 5 or something like that. So it's a little misleading, but it's not that the city's doing it. It's that when you get there with the amusement park people, they have 2 different times. So you thinking you're showing up at 2 o'clock and you still got 3 hours, and you only have an hour. So just something to look into.
That's what they have on our posters, but we'll look into it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
We'll move on to item number 9, which is the consent agenda. It's items 9.1 through 9.5, I believe, 9.6.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the consent agenda, items 9.1 through 9.6 as presented.
Second.
Motion by Troy, second by Mike to approve the consent agenda as presented. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10. Special case SU 2018-02. It's an application to establish a post-secondary education facility as a special use in the I-1 industrial neighborhood at 715 East 13th Street, Andover, Kansas, affectionately known as Butler Community College. Before I proceed with this hearing, I'll ask the council if any of them intend to disqualify themselves or participate in this case because they have a conflict of interest. That would be a no. Has the city clerk received any protest petitions?
No protest petitions have filed in the office of the city clerk within the 15 days following the planning commission's public hearing.
All right. I'll ask the council members if they have received the draft planning minutes, planning commission meetings of August 21st, 2018, which summarizes the hearing on the case.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. I guess we'll hear from the zoning administrator, a report on the case and the recommendation of the planning commission.
At the August meeting of the Planning Commission, a public hearing was held to consider a special use to expand the special use for the Butler Community College for a post-secondary education facility. I'm sure you're all aware that there were two parcels of property that now the college owns both parcels. One had a special use many years ago when the college was originally moved into the former Beechcraft building. The application before you tonight is to get the zoning in place to expand the college to the additional 10 acres that they've purchased since that time. As you're sure aware, with the reconstruction of the Andover High School, the college will not have joint classroom space on the Andover High campus, so they're looking to transfer those students to the 715 East 13th Street campus and allow for some additional expansion and both credit hours and students in the future. The Planning Commission recommended approval conditioned on satisfactory plating within 1 year.
Questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Troy?
since there aren't any questions, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the findings and factors and recommendation of the Andover Planning Commission to adopt an ordinance approving special use case SU 2018-02 for the establishment of post-secondary education facility in the I-1 Industrial District on property located at 715 East 13th Street, Andover, Kansas, conditioned upon successful plating within 1 year, as presented.
Second.
All right, motion by Troy, second by Brian to approve the special use case as presented. I have a question. How come this property hasn't been long ago platted?
It was an industrial lot that existed from the 60s. It actually started out as a Bell motorcycle helmet factory, and at that time industrial lots were not required to be platted, nor were they required to be replatted if they were split. Originally, the community college leased the property, and I understand now they own the property.
It makes sense to me that this is obviously going to be a post-secondary education piece of property. Why we wouldn't plat it and get it properly zoned instead of considering a special use case? I mean, has there been any discussion about that? I heard some rumors that, I saw the subdivision committee meeting. They're working on platting right now currently?
Yes, just an hour ago, we were discussing the preliminary and final plats of the property.
How
that
far
will
along is
proceed.
it?
They will proceed along and be at the Planning Commission a week from tonight at their next meeting.
So we'll
And-
hear it in,
To answer your question specifically about the timing and the zoning, I guess it could be one of two ways. It could be another zoning district with a special use for a secondary, post-secondary education facility, or remain the industrial with the special use. But either way, it's going to be a special use.
okay.
And the plating staff feels now that the college owns both of the tracks, and they have one intended user, that it's time to plat and reveal a 50-year history of easements and encroachments, and have it all together on a subdivision plat rather than
I
a
remember
bunch.
it being pretty messy. Very messy, especially to the east. Of who owns what and what easements exist and.
That's correct. There are
Um,
a string of title
Well,
encroachments.
the plat, I suppose, is the only working mechanism we have to ensure those easements and everything is in place, right?
The plat is the method to bring all of those easements into one document and to enforce the subdivision regulations, which would require improvements, water lines, sewer lines if necessary, streets, storm sewer.
So if we were to approve the special use case tonight and the plat installed, then what? If we weren't to get the proper dedications,
Then
as necessary.
a certificate of occupancy couldn't be authorized if the zoning
They'd already be
was.
in there. They're already in there. You'd revoke their
To
certificate?
some extent, because one of the things we're contemplating here is a new building on this tract of land, which presumably within a year probably wouldn't be occupied yet.
So the planning commission felt they just conditioned it for 12 months, but they didn't make it contingent upon successful plating.
Condition, we just had this exercise at subdivision committee that contingent and conditional mean the same thing.
Okay?
So what that means is that 1 year from the date of this ordinance, if it's approved and published, that the college could not occupy until that 1 year or the
It's
plat.
platted. But the plat is approved.
Right.
Okay. Those are my questions. All right, we have a motion by Troy and a second by Brian to approve special use case 2018-02 on 715 East 13th Street as presented. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11, Cornerstone 8th edition. Good evening, Mr. Anderson.
Steve Anderson, thank you very much. This is pertaining to the Cornerstone 8th edition up north and west of 21st and Andover Road. This is the latest in a series. We've finished the plat. We've approved the water and sewer contracts. We'll be starting utility improvements soon. This particular agenda item pertains to the paving project. We would like permission to take bids, and we would like the acceptance of the plans. The motion is in your agenda.
It's your pleasure, council.
Mr. Mayor, I move to accept the plans for the Cornerstone 8th edition paving, grading, and incidental drainage improvements, and authorize the bidding of these improvements.
Second.
Motion by Greg, second by Caroline to approve the Cornerstone 8th improvement plans as presented. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Wow. Here we go, member items. It's pretty good. Brian, you want to start us off?
I'm good tonight, thank you.
Caroline?
I am good as well.
Troy?
Well, I'm great because the city's great, as well as other things. So the chamber is currently going through, well, first of all, Becky was renewed, and we had an excellent meeting and discussion about how much has changed within the chamber and how it's grown and is doing tremendous things for the city, that it's just great to see it happening. We're also we're in a membership drive right now for the chamber, and so I would recommend businesses in Andover look to the chamber for what they offer, which is pretty tremendous benefits for the businesses within Andover and surrounding Andover. And then I would also like to point out that on a different note, as far as the fireworks this week, I know that we've received a few positive and negative feedback about the fireworks and the sound and that kind of thing. When we further review after everything's over this, I would ask that we would have some kind of a impact on the city numbers for businesses and additional things spent within Andover, as well as the people staying at the hotels and such like that, to get a sense for monetary impact to the city, in addition to anything else as far as feedback from citizens and businesses.
Could I expand that request a little
Yeah,
bit to
please.
you? I'd like to include those summer concerts too, the ones that we've had, Jenny. I know we've had representatives of the state of Kansas come down and do those calculations for us, but we'll need to provide them with some data. And we'll have the data after this Friday's event as well, so.
Absolutely.
It's encouraging to see. I mean, several of the concerts we had, it was remarkable. It was a big number. They have their formulas and models for calculating that type of stuff. It's impossible to get to nitty-gritty details, but I can tell you the business community has been generally pretty satisfied and happy every time we have a large crowd in Andover, so. But we can do that. We can
Yes,
put that
absolutely.
on a CVB agenda, invite them back down, and they can give their presentation, which we would share, obviously, to everybody at a workshop or something.
That would be great. Yeah, I think that it's going to be important, especially considering the volume of feedback we've received so far, to have really good information,
Right.
positive and negative, if that needs to be. And then the last thing I'd like to talk about real quick is the Andover Senior Center has openings for people to help with food, cooking, and in the kitchen. So if anybody feels called to do that, that would be excellent. They could use your help. That's all.
CR.
No comments.
Greg.
No comments.
Mike.
I have one thing. I want to thank the fire department for coming out to help with the Andover Central Booster Club's golf ball drop at their home game this past Friday. It was a pretty cool scene of watching several hundred balls drop from the top of the ladder truck into and around a golf hole, and only one went in.
Really?
Yes. So there we had one winner, which was pretty cool. It was a student, Taylor Wheatley, and he won $500 and a free oil change and tire rotation from Don Hatton.
Cool.
Excellent. I have one thing to add, maybe a couple. Last night, Jennifer and myself and Troy was there. We attended the school board meeting to talk about the NRP. They were generally receptive, asked a couple questions, but they haven't formally considered it. They will do that at their next meeting, right, Jennifer? So.
That's correct.
Once we hear from them, we're making plans to share that with the county, although I have shared it with both of our commissioners in this area. Then the community college, and then us. Yeah, we've already shared it with us. So we'll be working on that with a implementation date, hopefully of January 1st. So look forward to that. I guess that's it. Did you staff have anything else?
I would just mention Friday night, we are going to have a concert and a fireworks show. I think everyone knows about the fireworks show in the city of Andover, but it is $5 if you don't have a wristband when you get here. You can buy the wristbands in advance at City Hall if you would prefer to have them before you show up that night. gates open at 5, concert starts at 6, and fireworks will begin at 8.
Capital Federal is out of tickets.
Yes.
Collision Center of Andover is out of tickets. The only place you can get them is City Hall or at the gate. So. All right. Anything else?
How many tickets were there total? Can we?
Is there a cutoff
It
number?
was like, nah, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, here's the deal. There's no assigned seating. If you're anywhere in this park, you're going to get a good view.
Yeah.
You're in Crescent Lakes.
If you're in Crescent Lakes, you're going to get a great view. But no, this park, you can fit 30,000, 40,000 people in this park. I hope they show up. It's going to be a fun evening. So food trucks will be overwhelmed, but other than that.
I'll give them a little mention. Noble House, Manny's Tacos, the Popcorner, and Hog Wild will all be out Friday night too, so you don't have to eat before you come. Please support those vendors for coming out.
Perfect. All right, let's get out of here.
I move to adjourn.
Motion by Caroline, second by Brian. Further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.